So kind of like the worst and dumbest D&D related news of our time just happened. This is like something that for the state of my channel, like this community, I feel the need to get ahead of. So first, brief summary, then I'll continue the caveat for a second, and then we'll talk about what actually happened. Very, I guess, notable game developer, guy who was like behind original World of Warcraft apparently, has some bad opinions about the state of the game today, and I guess like fantasy gaming in general, tweeted about it, and then literal Elon Musk, owner of Twitter, retweeted or commented on this tweet, and that's what's blowing it up, right? The most followed person on Twitter, Elon Musk, is now making statements about Wizards of the Coast. We don't want that. And in a minute, we will get to exactly what Elon said, because I don't even want you to have to bother to look this up elsewhere. His literal purpose, like this guy's purpose, but also certainly Elon Musk's purpose, is to divide people and make them angry at each other, because that's what's good for his website. And that's why it's really important, just from like a community management moderation perspective, to like, we need to talk about this. And yeah, the rest of the caveat is just that I've already filmed a couple of these like back to basics sort of videos. One just talking about a cool new free RPG. One that is, I think, one of the most innovative D&D videos I've ever seen on the platform, because I've structured it in a way unlike anything I've ever seen. Look forward to that in December. But in the meantime, we'll just address this. So we have this guy saying that D&D creators, Gygax and others, are erased and slandered at the same time. And we'll just pause here, because we're gonna kind of take this statement by statement. They can't be both erased and slandered. That is mutually exclusive, because either you're erasing them and you're not talking about them and you're burying information about them, or you're slandering them and you're creating false information about them. Which is it? You can't have both. False. Right at the beginning here. But we'll take it back down a notch. Okay. And the easy part is here, they're definitely not being erased in the credits of the new player's handbook. And also in the player's handbook, the first sentence of the foreword or his preface, whichever it is, credits them again. You can't get farther from erasing them. And slandered. Basically, he just says that in the new making of original D&D history book, which he calls the 40th anniversary book, but as you and I know, it's the 50th anniversary book. He says that the foreword, and I think this is spelled wrong. I guess I don't actually know off the top of my head. Apparently this foreword slams the original creators and attempts to distance the current creators from them. And the line about distancing is a little weird, because it's like neither of these guys have worked on the game in multiple decades. They created the very fundamentals of it. Essentially, like all he does here, it's like in this quote, and it's actually a thread, there's a couple tweets here from this guy, is he points out some of like the top 3 things that make certain people really angry for some reason. Again, not that he actually touches on all 3 of them here, but I think this is like the time where I need to get ahead of this, make my stance clear on these 3 things. And we can kind of take those one by one. The inclusion of many different kinds of people in artwork in the games. They're just trying to not exclude anybody. That's it. My whole thing is just about having fun in the game and wanting everyone to play it. So this is cool to me, and it's weird to me that people get mad about that. The inclusion of, yes, guidelines designed to make sure that no one feels personally, not their character, but themselves, that they never feel uncomfortable at the table. Yeah, like if you're playing a horror game, you want to be scared a little bit, even as a person, not just your character. That's the idea. And all these guidelines do is say like, hey, make sure your players know what kind of game you're playing, so they know what to expect. And if we want people to have fun at the table, which I do, that's like the slogan of my channel, those kind of guidelines are fine. And then yeah, the acknowledgement that these original creators weren't like perfect, ideal human beings. Of course not. Without even really talking about stuff in the games, we know that Gary Gygax, like, because his own kids will say this, we know that he was like a great dad and a loving father, but also as a businessman, he used like company money to fund a lavish lifestyle, way over the top stuff, throwing parties, etc., etc. When he was living in Hollywood, trying to like woo people into making movies about D&D at the time. He's one man who did both of these things. And so the foreword of this history book just kind of like points that out. Hey, some of the stuff these guys wrote back in the day, you might not like it. And at most, I could say that they spent a little too much time on it, where it probably could have been more brief, but it really doesn't matter. Because then guys like this, who want you to be angry and mad, and guys like, where is he? And guys like this, who now like professionally, literally his job is to make you angry so you'll comment and retweet and basically just see more ads on his website. He said, nobody, and I mean nobody, gets to trash Gary Gygax and the geniuses who created Dungeons and Dragons. What the F is wrong with Hasbro and WotC? May they burn in hell. He's pandering. Oh wait, there's this other fan base that has divisive opinions that I can jump in on because it aligns with my brand now? And lots of people, obviously including the guy who made the post, are just biting right onto it. Just eating up his little pander dessert. That is the opposite of even what the original creators wanted. That's, I think, kind of where this story ends. That even if Gygax, Arneson, whoever, were maybe misguided in their attempts to get everyone into the hobby, they surely wanted everyone to play and enjoy their game. This guy doesn't. So don't be like this guy and don't buy in to his, little pandering treat that he's hanging over your head, trying to make you angry about stuff. Your homework, if any, is like when you see other people trying to divide the community, shut it down, okay? Because that's not what we're about. Keep building.